Good day, everyone. I am Rosha Medion, a BSED Filipino 3A, and this is my report. It is all about theory of generalization. Theory of generalization was formulated by Charles Hobart Judd. It means that experience obtained led in one situation are applicable to others' situation. So, Charles Hobart Judd was an educational psychologist. He wrote Genetic Psychology for Teachers in 1903, launching his career as an analyst of the psychology of school curriculums. So, according to him, it assumes that what is learned in Task A transfers to Task B because in studying A, the learner develops a general principle which applies in part or completely in both A and B. Example: when someone says hello to the student, they can respond with a variety of responses such as hello, hi, or hey. Example number 2. If a student learns how to zip up their jacket and then is able to zip up their backpack, then the skill of using a zipper has been generalized. So that is theory of generalization by Charles Hobart Judd. So our next topic is the theory of configuration. It is based on Gestalt theory of learning, which simply means transfer of learning occurs from one situation to another when generalization concept or insights develop led into a single learning situation is employed in other situations, not as parts but in a holistic manner. So, configuration theory or cognitive field theory applies these Gestalt principles directly to learning. It posits that learning is not a mechanical process of trial and error, as behavioral theorists suggest, but rather a cognitive process of developing insight. The learner understands the relationship and structure of a problem rather than just memorizing isolated facts or behavior. So it is derived from the principles of Gestalt psychology. The German word Gestalt translates roughly as form or configuration. So, it is still said that humans don't focus on separate components, but instead tend to perceive objects as elements or of more complex system. It is a core belief in Gestalt psychology, in holism, that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So, in addition, Max Wertheimer began the formal founding of Gestalt psychology in 1910 as he began experiments on the phi phenomenon. He published these experiments in a paper entitled Experimental Studies on the Perception of Movement. The phi phenomenon is apparent movement caused by alternating light positions. So let's proceed to our next topic, which is the transfer of learning. Factors that would affect transfer in school. So number 1 is mental ability of the learning. Affect the learner's rate and difficulty of learning. So mental ability in students is very extremely important because it includes the skills like critical thinking, problem solving, memory attention, logical reasoning, and cognitive flexibility, which is the foundation for learning across all subjects. It also plays a key role in helping students navigate daily life, build relationship, and cope with stress. So number 2 is nature of the learner. So we have some 4 types of a learner. So A, visual learner. So ang visual learner, ito yung kadalasan ay mas nagugustuhan nila na nakikita nila o may nakikita sila na mas madali para sa kanila, kagaya na lamang ng kapag may ipinipresenta ka na mga video, o doon sila mas madali nilang ma-target yung lesson. Yung auditory learners naman ay mas madali silang makatuto kapag may naririnig sila or naririnig nila yung lesson na gusto nilang mapakinggan. Mas doon naman sila mas prefer na strategy nila to learn. C, read and write. So mayroong mga learner na kung saan ipagpalagay na lang natin sa pagre-review ng exam. Merong mga students na basahin nila yan ng paulit-ulit at doon na magsisink in. Meron naman na basahin nila, tapos isusulat nila, tapos mas ma-familiarize or mas identify ng isang students o learners kapag ganitong klase ang strategy na kanilang ginagamit. Ang kinesthetic learners naman ay mas more on sila physically. Mas hilig nila yung naga-perform sila. Mayroong mga learner na mas active sila like sa pagsasayaw, pagkakanta, ganun, na kung saan kaya nilang maging kung sino man sila o maging fit in saan ganyang klaseng nature. Sa number 3 naman is ang attitude and efforts of the learner. Involves willingness to learn. So isa rin ito sa mga factors na nakakaapekto sa pagkatuto. Dahil merong kapag ang isang students ay walang willingness sa isang lesson o hindi makukuha ng isang guro ang atensyon ng isang bata, maaring nakikinig lamang ito pero yung lesson o yung specific na topic mismo ay hindi makukuha o magigets ng isang students, which is na nag-lead into misunderstanding at mababang mga grades. So, kailangan ding itong i-secure yung attitude and efforts. Kailangan din mismo na maglagay bilang as a student mismo, kailangan mong upang kung may goal ka, kailangan mo yang abutin through efforts. And especially dagdag mo na din yung attitude mo, yung consistency mo towards sa goals mo. Number 4, manner of teaching. Teaching methodological can help or hinder the transfer of learning, considering the learners have differing ways to best understand. So dito naman, as a future teacher, example ko dito, kailangan din na maging aware ka sa paligid, sa nature ng iyong students. Kasi mayroong sinabi ko na nga na ang mga students ay magkaiba. Hindi ka nakapokus lamang sa iisa. Kundi sa isang classroom, maraming type of students dyan. Mayroong mahilig, may iba't ibang hilig at may mga kahinaan sila na which is yun yung ipo-point out mo para to ang weakness nila ay magiging strengths nila. So, the more understanding, the better the transfer.